All right, Mr. Forman, if that is indeed your real name, what did you do on the day of yesterday?
Fox took a show about almost nothing happening in a basement in Wisconsin and turned it into must-watch TV for 8 years. That 70s show ran from 1998 to 2006, packed 4 years of story time into 8 real years, and made a whole generation believe that wood-covered walls and sitting in circles were top-level entertainment. But behind all the laugh track, there's a huge collection of strange stories. Today, we're counting down those weird and totally wild facts about the show that made the 70s cool again in the late 90s. Now, before we go down to the basement, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps YouTube show this video to more retro TV fans just like you. Now, let's jump into the countdown with
Number 1. Mila Kunis lied her way onto the show and got her first kiss. Mila Kunis was 14 when she auditioned for that 70s show, a role that needed an 18-year-old. Her solution? She told the casting team she would be 18, just not when.
Me, my phone.
Yeah, I guess.
You're just too shy to say that, lover. So, when were you a Boy Scout?
By the time anyone did the math, she had already played Jackie Burkhart so perfectly that firing her would have been like replacing the original Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince. You could do it, but everyone would notice, and nobody would be happy about it. And here's the crazy part. Her very first kiss ever was with 20-year-old Ashton Kutcher, right there on camera.
Lover.
Oh, yeah.
Please stop touching each other. It gives me needs.
awkward doesn't even begin to describe it. Imagine your first kiss being with a 20-year-old on camera with a crew of 30 people watching and someone yelling, "Cut, let's do it again." Most of us remember our first kiss as being awkward. Mila's is playing on TV reruns. Jump ahead 20 years and they're married with kids. So yeah, Mila lied to get the role, had her first kiss on national TV, and ended up marrying the guy. Meanwhile, the rest of us still have voicemails from first dates that we are still too scared to listen to.
Number 2. The Who said no, so the show got petty. Before the show locked in its now famous title, the producers really wanted something with more rock music credibility, because nothing says the 70s quite like The Who. The early title ideas were Teenage Wasteland, taken from the lyrics of The Who's Baba O'Reilly, and The Kids Are All Right, named after the band's 1965 song and their 1979 documentary. But The Who, or more likely their lawyers, were not okay with it. The titles were rejected, and just like that, the show's dream of strong rock and roll branding was over before it even aired. So the team went with what was supposed to be just a temporary placeholder.
That 70s show. It felt simple, almost boring, but co-creator Bonnie Turner pointed out that this was already what everyone was calling it anyway. Sometimes the most obvious choice is the right one. Plus, nobody could sue them over it. Still, the writers did not forget. When it was time to name the episodes, they found a new way to pay tribute. Starting in season 5, every single episode title came from classic rock songs: Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, Queen, and of course, The Who. Season 6 was all The Who, all season long. Every single episode title came from the band that would not let them use their name for the show. That is some creative revenge. So yeah, The Who said no at the front door, but the show brought them in through the back anyway and made them part of that 70s show for the rest of its run. Sometimes the best revenge is simply being persistent.
Number 3. Jackie's mom got a supermodel upgrade and nobody said a word. Recasting happens. Sometimes an actor is not available. Sometimes the chemistry's off. Sometimes the network just decides to change things up a little. But when that 70s show recast Jackie Burkhart's mother, they did not just switch actors. They went from the girl next door type to an international supermodel and turned Pam's vanity all the way up to 11.
If you keep thinking this way, you'll always be running from one place to another looking for something better instead of just being happy with what you have. You know, I guess you have a lot of thinking to do.
The change was easy to notice.
Now on the Burkhart family tree, we had Jackie, the ultimate spoiled princess, and her mother, Pam, who was basically what you get when you give a narcissist a credit card and zero parenting skills. Pam was the kind of glamorous mess that made you think, well, now Jackie makes perfect sense. So Pam first appeared in season 1, played by none other than Eve Plum, also known as Jan Brady herself. And honestly, casting Jan Brady as someone's flaky mom, that's some next level meta casting right there. But it was basically a blink and you miss it appearance, because then, poof, Pam disappeared faster than Eric's courage whenever Red gave him the look. Jump ahead to season 6 and suddenly Pam is back, except now she's Brooke Shields. Yeah, Jackie's mom went from middle Brady to full-on supermodel overnight. Talk about a glow-up that broke the rules of genetics and common sense. But here's the thing, this wasn't just random stunt casting, this was smart stunt casting.
I just love coming over to your house. You have such unique tastes. It's like being in a giant flea market.
You want to play Jackie's vain, self-obsessed, I'm basically a teenager trapped in my mom's body mother? Then hire a real supermodel who spent the 80s being famous for being gorgeous. Brooke Shields did not just show up and go through the motions either. She appeared in 7 episodes and completely nailed Pam's shallow, my daughter is basically my competition energy. The change was about as subtle as a disco ball in a monastery, but somehow it worked perfectly. Eve Plum's version had been more toned down, but Shields went all in with the vanity and self-obsession.
Oh, what a lovely evening. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear I was with rich people.
Oh, she's got it all. Looks and beauty.
She turned Pam into this amazing mess, who you both wanted to laugh at and ask for therapy advice. Sure, fans noticed. I mean, going from Jan Brady to Calvin Klein's poster girl is not exactly a quiet change. But in true sitcom style, the show just acted like nothing happened and kept the laugh track going. And honestly, Brooke Shields made the character so unforgettable that most fans forget Pam was ever played by anyone else. When you think of Jackie's nightmare mom, you think of Shields. It shows that sometimes the best way to handle a recast is to go so big, so bold, and so perfectly cast that the original version becomes just a footnote. Mission accomplished. Number 4. The Circle's Strawberry Secret. Everyone remembers the circle, that hazy basement ritual where the camera slowly moved around the group as they talked about, deep stuff. Very deep, very philosophical, totally legal stuff. But here's the secret. That smoke wasn't fake. The cast would sometimes smoke real cigarettes during filming to make the haze, and the crew burned strawberry-scented incense to cover up the smell. So yeah, those basement scenes literally smelled like cigarettes mixed with a Yankee Candle store.
Come on, people, hop too! Thank you. Light.
The camera setup was pure genius. By moving around the group instead of focusing on one person, they could suggest everything without showing anything. The network stayed happy, college kids got the joke, and everyone's parents thought they were just really into incense, which technically they kind of were. The whole thing worked because the show never said what they were doing. It just showed a bunch of teenagers sitting in a circle, getting giggly and philosophical, while real smoke curled around them. Plausible deniability at its finest.
This is what you normally do? I used to do this too back when I was being an artist. I love art. I hate work.
It's one of the most clever sitcom tricks of the 1990s. Real smoke stood in for the illegal kind. Camera tricks replaced close-ups, and there was a wink to the audience that everyone understood. Now try watching The Circle without imagining that strawberry-scented haze thick enough to set off a smoke detector. Number 5. Tommy Chong's real-life disappearing act. Leo seemed like the most reliable person in the basement until he suddenly vanished for 2 seasons. Now, for anyone who didn't grow up listening to Cheech and Chong albums or watching Up in Smoke on late-night cable, Tommy Chong wasn't just playing a stoner. He was a counterculture icon who practically invented weed comedy in the 70s. So when Leo disappeared, it wasn't because of a contract problem. No California dreams, no finding himself storyline, no explanations. He just vanished. The reason? Tommy Chong was serving 9 months in federal prison for selling bongs. I mean, you really couldn't write a more Leo-style excuse if you tried.
I don't expect a lot, man. Like Pretty much if the hut doesn't burn down, it's been a good day.
From counterculture icon to federal prisoner to nostalgic reboot cameo, Leo's journey is pure Tommy Chong. Only he could turn a federal conviction into sitcom trivia gold. And somehow, at 80-some years old, he played the character again in That 90s Show, which ran from 2023 to 2024, proving that Leo's dedication to the role outlasted both his prison time and the actual 70s itself.
That was a good idea. Now, how are we going to pay for dinner?
Chong's arrest happened during Operation Pipe Dreams, a DEA crackdown on drug paraphernalia all across the country, which sounds like a rejected Austin Powers plot, but was actually very, very real. While Leo was gone, fans definitely noticed he wasn't around. He just showed up again in season 7 like he'd been on a long Grateful Dead tour. Same denim vest, same stoner wisdom, same happy smile, and probably some interesting new stories about federal prison.
Number 6. A character died for a laugh. By season 8, That 70s Show was running on fumes, and apparently so was its sense of logic. With Topher Grace and Ashton Kutcher leaving, the writers brought in a new guy named Charlie, played by Brett Harrison, to act as a replacement. He worked at the same car shop as Red, hung out in the basement, and seemed genuinely likable. All the makings of a solid addition to the group for about 5 minutes. Charlie appeared in a few episodes at the end of season 7, made some friends, laughed at some jokes, and even fell off the Point Place water tower. We all thought this could work. Then, in the first episode of season 8, the gang casually mentions that Charlie fell off the Point Place water tower and died.
The beer!
That was a pretty awkward landing.
Complete with a laugh track. That's right, they turned a character's death into a joke. Fans were shocked. There was no sadness, no tribute, not even a single awkward pause. The gang mentioned their new friend's death the same way you'd mention running out of milk.
His name was Charlie, you cantaloupe.
Also, you've fallen off this thing like 10 times. It's so scary to think you could have, met the same fate as Charlie.
A quick joke, laugh track, and then back to the basement. The show never mentioned Charlie again, which made the whole thing feel less like a bold creative choice and more like someone lost a bet in the writer's room. Behind the scenes, Brett Harrison had gotten a new role elsewhere and decided to leave the show. Weird creative choices, dropped storylines, and the growing feeling that nobody was steering the ship anymore. Killing off a new character for a joke wasn't just strange, it was a sign that the party in Point Place was officially over.
Number 7. Donna's sister vanished. Now, here's a trivia fact most fans miss. Donna Pinciotti had a little sister named Tina, and then poof, she didn't. 14-year-old Tina Pinciotti, played by Amanda Fuller, appeared in exactly one episode of That 70s Show.
Hello, pretty lady.
Hi.
She's not a pretty lady. She's my sister, and she's 14.
Season 1's Eric's Burger Job. She showed up at Donna's party, flirted with Fez, had maybe 3 lines of dialogue, and that was it. She disappeared, gone like your old MySpace account. You know it existed once, but good luck proving it now. But here's where it got strange. The show actually pointed out the plot hole. In the season 2 episode, Van Stark, an announcer broke the fourth wall during the credits in full soap opera narrator voice because someone had been binge-watching daytime TV all episode and asked, whatever happened to Donna's daughter, Tina?
And whatever happened to Midge's daughter, Tina?
It was the writer's way of saying, yeah, we dropped that storyline. You noticed. Now let's never speak of it again. After Tina disappeared, Donna was officially an only child for the next 7 seasons. No sibling, no explanations, no awkward Thanksgiving dinners where someone might ask, hey, where's your sister? Behind the scenes, producers reportedly thought Donna worked better as an only child, fewer characters to manage, cleaner storylines. And as for Amanda Fuller, she didn't really disappear. She went on to star in Last Man Standing and Orange is the New Black. So yeah, Tina Pinciotti got erased from sitcom history, but Amanda Fuller did just fine without her. Number 8. Fez's Homeland, the biggest mystery in Point Place. Over 8 seasons, That 70s Show told us almost everything about Fez.
Now, I am off to spend the rest of my American money on candy and porno.
his love of candy, his almost stalker-level crush on Donna, his very mixed record with women, sometimes smooth, often creepy, always kind of confusing. But one thing the show never told us was where he was actually from. Fez's country of origin was one of the show's longest-running jokes. Every time he was about to reveal it, something would interrupt, his full name drowned out by a school bell.
Well, my name is...
Pointing to his country on a map, covered by someone's head. A friend from home visiting? They'd only say the island's name, and it depended on whether you asked the British or the Dutch.
Okay, just tell us, what's the name of your country?
Well, that depends on whether you ask the British or the Dutch.
And the English won't say it because they don't like the island. Fez wasn't even his real name. It literally came from foreign exchange student, shortened to Fez. The gang basically nicknamed him the foreign kid, and he just went along with it. Peak 70s sensitivity right there.
Oh, hello.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the new foreign exchange student. The football team asked me if I wanted to hang out.
Fans have spent decades trying to put together clues. He once said his country never fought a war, except for that time they beat Britain. Super helpful. The accent didn't make it easier either. Wilmer Valderrama purposely kept it so vague that Fez sounded like he could be from anywhere with a coastline and a complicated colonial history. The writers later confirmed there is no answer. His origin was left purposely unclear because the joke was in the mystery. And honestly, after 8 seasons of build-up, any real answer would have been a letdown. Anyway, if this trip back to Point Place is hitting your nostalgia sweet spot, give this video a thumbs up and tell us in the comments what your ultimate That 70s Show memory is. Now let's get back to the countdown with
Number 9, the show's impossible timeline. That 70s Show was meant to cover 4 years, 1976 to 1979. Simple enough, right? Well, over 8 seasons, there were 5 Christmas episodes, multiple New Year's celebrations, and so many Eric Foreman birthdays that even Benjamin Button would be jealous.
Surprise! Birthday breakfast, and this is it, young man. A few gifts tonight, the end.
because apparently time itself got confused by all that basement smoke. Fans have spent years arguing about how many times Eric turned 17, whether seasons overlapped, or if Point Place existed in some kind of polyester time warp where disco never died and gas was always under $1. The timeline became such a mess that continuity errors turned into running jokes, and honestly, by season 6, even the writers seemed to give up on basic math. By the final seasons, the writers clearly cared more about jokes than calendar.
Forman beat up by a girl. Seems like only yesterday. Oh wait, I think it happened yesterday too.
You like that story, Hyde? Maybe I should talk about the first time you and I met. No. Yes. No. Yes. You promised! I'm telling!
Character development? Sure. Actual growth over time? Not so much. Because who needs a normal timeline when you've got laugh tracks and wood paneling? And all right? But here's the thing. That messy timeline hasn't hurt the show's legacy at all. If anything, it's part of the charm. That 70s Show exists in a permanent 70s world where it's always almost New Year's and Eric is always almost graduating. Sometimes the best nostalgia trips don't follow the rules of space and time. Number 10. The theme song's Rockstar Makeover. Is burned into every fan's brain like a nostalgic tattoo, but it actually started on the street by the cult band Big Star back in the real 1970s. For season 1, the producers used a cover by Todd Griffin that captured the vibe but didn't quite work. Like a knockoff version of your favorite song that's almost right but somehow completely wrong. Then Cheap Trick stepped in. The rock legends, already famous for Surrender and I Want You to Want Me, recorded their own version for season 2. That became the show's definitive anthem, playing over every opening all the way to the finale. Because when rock royalty offers to sing your theme song, you don't say no. The Cheap Trick connection gave That 70s Show instant rock credibility. Suddenly, it wasn't just a sitcom about teenagers. It had the mark of a band that defined the late 70s and early 80s. They still perform the theme live at concerts, and entire crowds sing along. Proof that a great theme song can outlive the show itself. Number 11. That 80s flop and that 90s mistake. Hollywood loves trying to catch lightning twice. Unfortunately for that 70s show, every time someone tried, it backfired. First up, the 80s show, the 2002 experiment that thought you could bottle nostalgia just by adding neon and synthesizers. Set in 1984 San Diego, it followed Corey Howerton, played by Glenn Howerton years before It's Always Sunny, a struggling musician surrounded by every 80s stereotype imaginable. A punk rock girlfriend, a nerdy best friend, and a sister who went from valley girl to environmental crusader.
Okay, thanks for dropping by. I'm just gonna let myself out.
The problem with that 80s show was that it focused on the decade instead of the people. It treated the 80s like a costume party, all surface and no heart. Every joke screamed, "Hey, remember this?" without giving viewers a reason to actually care. No connection to that 70s show, no returning characters, just non-stop references to Rubik's Cubes and MTV. Critics panned it, audiences shrugged, and it fizzled after 13 episodes, the equivalent of a perm gone wrong. Fast forward to 2023, when Netflix tried again with that 90s show. This time it was a full sequel, following Laurie Foreman, daughter of Eric and Donna, as she spent the summer of 1995 with Grandma Kitty and Grandpa Red. On paper, it sounded like a sure hit. In reality, it was more like a participation trophy. The good news? Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp absolutely carried the show, proving two sitcom legends could hold up an entire decade on their own. The bad news? Pretty much everything else.
Well, I miss them. It's been too quiet around here for me, Red.
Well, then get a parrot. And if that's not enough squawking for you, invite your sister.
The new cast of teens felt more like extras at a 90s theme party than real kids from 1995. And the writing relied so heavily on nostalgia cameos that it felt more like a reunion special stretched across 2 seasons. Fans tuned in at first, but by season 2, the audience disappeared faster than Kelso's IQ. Critics said the new characters were flat, the jokes were forced, and the 90s vibe felt more like Spirit Halloween than real grunge-era authenticity. Netflix quietly canceled it in 2024 after 2 seasons, citing low viewership. In the end, that 70s show remains the lightning in a bottle that everyone else tried to copy.
Number 12. A sprained ankle and a high school play launched Topher Grace's career. Before he was Eric Foreman, Topher Grace wasn't an actor. He wasn't even trying to be one. He was just a regular high school kid who loved tennis until a sprained ankle sidelined him and changed his life forever. In 1997, teenage Topher was cast as the lead in his high school's production of A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum at Brewster Academy in New Hampshire. Nothing unusual there, until you consider who was in the audience. Bonnie and Terry Turner, the husband and wife team behind Wayne's World and Third Rock from the Sun, were there to support their daughter Lindsay, who was working on set design. One night, the Turners showed up to watch their daughter's play, saw this lanky, funny kid steal every scene, and decided he was their Eric Foreman.
Empty pool, empty house, full keg. Sure know how to show a girl a good time.
Yeah, well, I don't color outside the lines often, but when I do, jump back low ready.
Just like that, Hollywood careers have started in stranger ways, but not by much. A year later, Topher was a freshman at USC studying economics, not acting. When the Turners tracked him down and invited him to audition, he had no agent, no training, and absolutely no idea what he was doing. When the casting director asked for a headshot and resume, Grace showed up with a photo from Six Flags and a work history that included Dunkin' Donuts and a video store. In Hollywood terms, he was spectacularly unqualified. In Bonnie and Terry Turner's terms, he was perfect. But somehow, the kid who couldn't even fake a professional resume nailed the audition. The Turners hired him on the spot. Grace later called it his weird origin story, and he wasn't wrong. one sprained ankle, one high school play, one lucky night, and suddenly that 70s show had a lead actor who'd never acted professionally in his life.
You weigh 400 pounds together? It doesn't matter. The fact is that the tap is broken and it's your fault. Morons!
You are so rude. Give us our $4 back.
Okay, Fez.
Not bad for a guy who just wanted to play varsity tennis. Number 13, the British remake that nobody watched. In 1999, British television looked at That 70s Show and thought, yeah, we could do that. And by do that, they meant copy the US version almost word for word. ITV rolled out Days Like These, a remake that tried to move Wisconsin basement humor into a British living room. The idea was simple, too simple actually. Change a few cultural references, throw in some British slang, and hope the accent would carry it.
Eric and Donna and Björn, that foreign lad, and me, Dylan. Oh, pretty much everyone. And you.
Oh, good. Thank you for telling me, Michael.
The result was a nostalgia transplant that flatlined as soon as it aired. Days Like These starred Max Rosley as Eric, Rosie Marcel as Donna, Harry Peacock as Dylan, the Hyde equivalent, and James Carlton as Michael, aka the British Kel. They were perfectly fine actors, just stuck with dialogue that made zero cultural sense. The whole thing felt like watching a Wisconsin keg party through a BBC filter. It turns out the American brand of polyester-clad suburbia doesn't translate when you move it to a British living room. Lines that worked in a Wisconsin basement just sounded wrong in Luton. Dumb jokes lose something in translation when it's not Kurtwood Smith delivering them. 13 episodes were made, but ITV canceled it after 10. The rest were dumped into late-night purgatory. And to make things even more awkward, the real That 70s Show was already airing on British cable and doing just fine, thank you very much. In the end, Days Like These proved that some shows are better left alone, especially when the original is already available and working perfectly.
Number 14, the Eric replacement that nobody wanted. When Topher Grace left before the final season, the producers faced a nightmare. Should they recast Eric Foreman or create a new character to fill the gap? Recasting Eric was actually considered. Yes, someone really thought that would be a good idea. But when Topher Grace, who played Eric, left after season 7, the show faced a crisis bigger than running out of beer in Red's garage. As a solution, they introduced Randy Pearson, played by Josh Myers, in season 8. Randy was a laid-back record store guy who dated Donna and delivered one-liners. The problem? Fans hated him instantly. It was like introducing a new friend to your established group and watching everyone's faces drop.
Hey, Randy, come here, I gotta talk to you.
Yeah, sure, but check this out first. See these guys over there? They think Leo's an almond brother.
Why would they think that?
I told them!
Internally, the character came about after Myers was almost cast as Eric. Instead, Randy was created as a new addition, and he appeared in 21 of the 22 final season episodes. Eric made a brief, uncredited return in the finale, basically a cameo in his own show.
Well, kids, it looks like you're really in some deep...
You're not funny.
Randy was supposed to be a mix of Eric's sarcasm and Kelso's goofiness. Instead, he came off like a focus group's idea of a cool basement guy, all the personality of store-brand soda. He didn't have chemistry with the gang, and worse, his romance with Donna felt like an insult to 7 years of Eric and Donna investment. Even the cast has admitted that season 8 was a mess. It was like watching your favorite band try to go on after the lead singer quit. To this day, some fans blame Randy for killing That 70s Show. It's not all Myers' fault. No one could have replaced Eric, but Randy remains sitcom history's cautionary tale. Don't force-feed fans a replacement character. Sometimes the smartest move is knowing when to just end the show, something That 70s Show learned one season too late. Number 15, Laurie Foreman, the sister from hell who ended up in jail. Every sitcom needs a little chaos, and on That 70s Show, it came in the form of Laurie Foreman, Eric's older sister, Red's favorite child, and the undisputed queen of manipulation. She was the family's resident troublemaker, equal parts flirt, schemer, and walking bad decision. Lisa Robin Kelly nailed the role, with every smirk and side-eye landing like a perfectly timed slap of sibling sarcasm. But off-screen, Kelly was dealing with her own struggles. Around 2001, she developed serious issues with alcohol and substance abuse. Her real-life problems eventually caught up with her character. Midway through season 3, Laurie was abruptly written out with the flimsy excuse of going to beauty school, because apparently that's what you say when you can't explain what's really happening behind the scenes. She returned briefly in season 5, just long enough to remind us what we'd been missing.
Laurie,
Hey, little brother.
you're back.
But after 4 episodes, Kelly was let go for good. Then in season 6, Laurie reappeared, except she was suddenly different. The role had been recast with Christina Moore, who gave the character a softer, less diabolical take. Moore did fine with what she was given, but her Laurie felt more like a mischievous cousin than the whirlwind of manipulation we'd come to love. It was like swapping a chainsaw for a butter knife.
Don't touch me.
Fine, I'll give you $20 to pretend to be my wife.
It's gotta sound familiar.
After 6 episodes, Moore's Laurie disappeared too. No exit scene, no heartfelt goodbye, not even a postcard from beauty school. The show never explained where she went. Fans jokingly decided she moved to Canada, sitcom code for "we have no idea what to do with this character anymore." Years later, the Netflix sequel series, That 90s Show, finally gave a darkly funny update. Laurie ended up in jail, which, let's be honest, felt like the most believable ending for the Forman family's favorite agent of chaos. As for the actresses, their paths couldn't have been more different. Lisa Robin Kelly's struggles sadly continued after leaving the show. She passed away in 2013 at the age of 43 while trying to get help for her addictions, a tragic ending to a life that deserved better. Christina Moore, on the other hand, worked steadily in Hollywood, from Mad TV and 90210 to True Blood and co-creating the military comedy Enlisted. Her version of Laurie may not have stuck, but her career certainly did. And there you have it, 15 weird and wild facts about That 70s Show. Which revelation shocked you the most? Did we miss any deep-cut trivia that would make even Leo proud? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more nostalgic deep dives into the shows that define a generation. And until next time.